I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, June the 9th, brought to you in part by the new Nasalgen. Bovolus Nasalgen 3 PMH is the first and only intranasal vaccine with both viral and bacterial pneumonia protection to effectively protect against IBR, BRSV, PI3, Pasteurella, and Mannheimia in one dose. Plus, it leaves a unique blue shadow around the calf's nose, so no second guessing on whether he's been treated or not. For more information, go to unmatchedprotection.com. Real-time index breaks 160. On our last visit, I was trying to convince you guys that we were in a rally, and I was asking whether it was too early to have that rally or not. And I'm not sure everybody really thought we were in a rally. Well, by Wednesday afternoon, there was no doubt we were in a rally as the board just launched. You could almost feel it coming. Of course, you can't always bet on your feels like that, but you could just almost feel that thing coming. Your real-time index, that is the index based on an 800-pound steer from 700 to 899-pound steers, just like your CME cash feeder cattle index, but it's the index that we put together here with DV Auction, Cattle Market Central, and the Feeder Flash. It's put together, automated, so it's really more trustworthy than your CME cash feeder cattle index, because the cash feeder cattle index relies on human error whenever it's putting the information in the system, and then human error again whenever it's pulling that information out and figuring the index. So, but your real-time index with DV Auction, it's all automated, and it comes out immediately, and it's always up to date. You can look at it through the business days, through trading while sales are still going on, and as fast as you want to hit the refresh button, that's as new as it is. But it broke 160. It was right at 158 at the end of Tuesday's trade, and then at the end of Wednesday's trade up over $2 and breaks 160. That's based on an 800-pound steer. Because you look at, and it's probably has more to do with your 9-weight cattle or cattle that are pushing 9 than it does your lighter ones. We just don't have that many lighter cattle weighing under 8 that's from 7 to 8 to be in there, but your cattle weighing close to 9 are not pulling it down very much, because they're bringing way up in the 150s almost everywhere. But that's pretty significant. We were talking about 160. You know, we have all through the spring, whether, you know, the market was really good, an 800-pounder would bring 160. If it wasn't quite so good, it'd be somewhere less than that. But now that we're here in the summertime, or maybe not official summer, but, you know, we're past Memorial Day, we're in the time that we thought we were going to be in a big lull as we were going to hit all these cattle hitting the show list, a lot of these big calves that they put on feed, and it was going to pull the market back so much. Hasn't pulled the market back that much. Now, it has your cash-fed cattle market a little bit, because we just don't have enough leverage to hold that thing together. And your board was down some, but the board has not caught all the way back up, but it's been running at a big discount to cash here for the last several months. But we've got in here, I talked to these cattle feeders. The guys in Iowa especially, they're pulling cattle up, or pulling cattle ahead, because the cattle that they haven't even put on the show list yet are grading better than the cattle in the Southern Plains. And that's just natural, and your packers want them. They're out there looking at those cattle. They're wanting cattle that'll grade because our weights are slipping, our grading is slipping. And I don't know, maybe we're not going to run into all these cattle that they were talking about. We know that we've been into the calves for the last 3 weeks or better because of the way that the weights have been falling off. But it hasn't really troubled us yet. We're not seeing anybody getting clogged up with their show list, not able to sell cattle. Packers are aggressively turning up the chain speeds on the slaughter. And we're just, and I've said this many times before, but I want you guys to understand, we just aren't used to seeing our big numbers of market-ready cattle coinciding with the packers wanting to increase chain speeds and have the biggest harvest that we've had all year. So, you know, that it's offsetting itself. And I think the trade is starting to see that. Investors are starting to see that. Managed money is even starting to see that. I mean, your board just took off on Wednesday, and it's really happened because of we started seeing cash trade. So we thought we were going to lose a lot of money on our Fed market as we moved through this period right here. Hey, you know, and even the reports early in the week were saying, well, we were going to be steady this week. Steady, hell, we're gaining ground. We're gaining ground with no leverage. Even in the Southern Plains, they gained $1. That's like moving a mountain whenever you don't have to have any more of their needs, you know, to fill in the Southern Plains than what we do. And, you know, trading 7 or 8% in Texas, maybe a little better than that in Kansas, but you know, gaining some ground. But the guys in the Northern Plains, they know these packers need their good cattle, and they're pricing them higher. Never thought about that. Gain ground by asking more for the cattle whenever they know that the buyers need them. That's a novel idea, and that's why you guys are trying to push this Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act. Chuck Grassley won his primary. He smoked them on Tuesday night, and so he's probably going to easily get back in as an 88-year-old senator from Iowa. If you guys remember during the last hearing, he said he will not give up until he sees a fix on this cash-fed cattle market. And he knows and been there forever, and there's a lot of lawmakers that owe him a lot of favors, guys. We're going to be able to get that Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act done. He said this month it will be pulled up, marked up into the Senate Ag Committee. It'll go on through there. They'll get it scheduled for a vote. We've got a little bit of a mountain to climb in the House, but we're going to get that done too, guys. Let's talk about your board. On Wednesday, June live cattle futures up 310, ending the session at 136.82. Now that's still back from where your weighted average is going to be in the 5 area, but it's actually a premium to what the Southern Plains is going to be, because they've started trading at 136. It was mostly 135 last week. August live cattle futures up 340 at 137.52. Your back months were all up big, up 132 to up 267, and I think that's warranted. Feeder cattle for August up 320 at 175.65. September up 250 at 177.25, and your back months on feeder cattle are all up big also, up 172 to up 260, right in the face of higher corn once again. Chicago Board of Trade corn futures up 7.5 cents, closing regular trading at 764.5. Beans up 11.75 cents, ending regular session trading at 1740. Kansas City hard red winter wheat up 5.75 cents, closing at 11.55. Fat cattle trade developed and established on Wednesday, higher, not just steady, but higher. Colorado even printed some of them regionals from up in Nebraska coming down into Colorado looking for some cattle that'll grade. Sold 1,400 head confirmed on Wednesday in Colorado, all at 141. The last we saw reported, now they had some sales last week, but we didn't get to see them, but the last we saw reported in Colorado was 138. Iowa, 4,900 head confirmed on Wednesday, with live sales from 140 to 143. That's steady to $1 higher. Dress sales from 225 to 230, $4 to $5 higher. But granted, most of your dressed market there in Iowa is done by the regionals, and it'll come back down from there some, but it's still going to be quite a bit higher on the top end. Nebraska, 10,900 head confirmed just up till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, there was going to be more trading that later, so we have a big movement in Nebraska. 10,900 head confirmed. Live sales 142 to 143. Dress sales 225 to 228 higher. Kansas, just 900 head confirmed. Live sales from 136 to 140. 140 in Kansas. Now that was just in the northern edge of the state there, and that wasn't the bulk of the trade, but still $1 to $4 higher. You got to count it. They're going to count some of them lower ones whenever they come in. Dress sales at 224 in Kansas. Texas 6,800, pretty good movement for them on Wednesday, with live sales steers and heifers up 136. Now that 140, you just got to figure, that's freight. Because your guys in Nebraska and maybe even up in Iowa, but I would assume Nebraska, coming down in there into Kansas, they're buying cattle. It's going to cost them more than $3, which is what they're giving for the top cattle in Nebraska. It'll probably cost them $4 or $5 to get them up there to those plants. Maybe not that much if they got them right on the north end of Kansas there, but still hauling those cattle up there because they're needing cattle of great choice and better. But Texas is not going to get anything like that because it's just too far to haul them. And if you look at your latest choice and better grading, Kansas had 81, a little better than 81% choice and better. That's nearly as good as Nebraska. Nebraska's lost 3.5 percentage points just in the last couple of weeks. Texas choice and better grading is under 70. So no, they're not going to come down into Texas and dip around and haul them that far. Box beef cutout values were mixed. Choice cuts up 32 cents at 270, 174. Selects down 15 cents at 249.41. Your slaughter, very aggressive so far this week up through Wednesday. 377,000. That's 18,000 more than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. LRPs are the deal, guys. We've been talking about them here for the last 6-8 months or better. And that's the best way to protect your investment, especially on you backgrounders. But also hearing more than I thought, cattle feeders doing it. They've got the head counts raised up there now where it'll cover almost everybody as far as your independent feeders. And also cow-calf guys can do it. What do you think your calves are going to bring? Look out there and see what those LRP quotes are. And you like that, you can pretty much lock them in, guys. If you're looking at a professional to get that done, especially if you're in the center part of the country. These guys are in and around Oklahoma. Livestock Risk Services is somebody that does it all day, every day. It's somebody you can call, you can visit about it. They're going to know. They don't have to call somebody else and check, because we got a lot of insurance people that are selling this stuff, but not a lot of them know everything about it. Livestock Risk Services does. Get a hold of them at livestoccriskservices.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle markets, real-time index on DV auction. Late in the afternoon on Wednesday, I told you it broke 160. Sitting at 160.06, up 207. Look at your big sales on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 7,500 head for the 2-day sale. Didn't have a lot of calves on Tuesday, but still had a separate sale on Tuesday. But the federal state market reporters, which are good in Oklahoma, not everywhere else, but they're good in Oklahoma. Feeders are $5 to $10 higher. Calves $8 to $12 higher. They've had a lot of rain around Oklahoma, guys. But look at this automated market report from OKC West and El Reno. This is just for the Wednesday sale, just for the yearling sale. But look at your best tested weights, 914 head of 7-weight steers, average 771 with a weighted average price on all of them of $163.15. That's more than $9 higher. Can't complain about the trend. How about 696 head of 8-weight steers in El Reno? The average weight on them was 847. Average weighted average price on all your 8-weight steers in El Reno was $156.78, more than $8 higher than just a week ago. How about a heifer quote? 1,468 head of heifers weighing in the 7s. Dad always told me it's a lot harder to make a heifer weigh 8 than it is to make a steer weigh 9. They can't quite do it, but 7-weight heifers average 754 at 148.59, more than $6 higher, almost $6.50 higher there than a week ago. How about winter livestock? Dodge City, Kansas, lighter run for them, about 1,400 head. They're already getting ramped up for the big King of the Ring sale. They'll have probably 9,000 or 10,000 yearlings there, and then they'll have a big Hall of Fame sale at Pratt, but getting ready for that. But market in Dodge City was sharply higher. Individual quote out of Dodge City was 53 head of steers, weighed 873 at 158.85. Big sale, or not so far as receipts, but they had big quotes come out of Bloomfield Livestock Market in Bloomfield, Iowa. 397 head of 8-weight steers This is all of them thrown together, averaging 831 with a weighted average price of 168.31. Some individual quotes around the circuit. I told you that 800 pounders breaking 160 on the real-time index. Hardin County Stockyards in Savannah, Tennessee can do that, guys. 56 head, 793 pound steers. Savannah, Tennessee at Hardin County Stockyards bring 159.50. Now those southeastern quotes don't go in your RTI or your CME cash feeder cattle index, but just telling you how well they sell. How about Stockman's Livestock Market, Yankton, South Dakota? 103 head of big steers, warmed up steers, weigh 1065 at 158.75. But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday, National Beef Wire top quote for the day, come out of Creighton Livestock Market in Creighton, Nebraska. Jedlicka steers, 170 head of them, weigh 967 at $170. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.